Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the new installment of AMC Spoilers, where we take a brand new movie and talk about it and spoil everything. So these reviews, just fair warning right up front, are for people who've already seen the film. And today we are talking about the new Disney film, Big Hero 6. And as I said, this movie, or this review, is going to be filled with spoilers because we're going to talk about it assuming that you've seen the movie too, and we're talking about it over a water cooler. So if you've not seen Big Hero 6, make sure you just add this video to your favorites and come back and watch it later. Unless you don't really care about spoilers, in that case, enjoy away. I'd like to introduce you to the people joining me for this episode. First of all, over there, Mr. Dennis Zen.
We actually haven't left here since we did a review for Interstellar. We just slept
the sun's just starting to come up. Miss Alicia Malone.
Ba-la-la-la-la.
And Mr. John Schnepp. So what we're going to do here is we're going to talk about Big Hero 6. We're going to talk about the things that we liked about the film, some things we thought could have been better about the film, and then overall we're going to give a score. So we started on that side last night with Interstellar, so let's start on this side this time. Schnepp, you just saw Big Hero 6. What are some of the things you like about the film?
It was really enjoyable, and it really got me. I loved the chemistry of all the voice actors and the characters, and I liked where they went with the story. I really enjoyed the formation of the team,
right?
Kind of around a tragedy, around the main character's brother's death, horrible death. But all the people that he worked with, took him in, and he was an incredibly smart kid. And I love the whole glorification of science. That was one of my biggest. I like that it put learning up in such a cool category, which it should be. So it was a very enjoyable film.
Yeah, I was surprised how much I liked it. I thought, number one, well, I got to start with this. Whenever I talk about this movie to people, I talk about this. That scene where Hero and Baymax fly for the first time. The cinematography of, I had chills. And that's very hard to do today with how far advanced we've come with visual effects and all that kind of stuff. But I remember the first time I watched that, I was right into it. The choice of shots, per se, and the way they shot it, and the movements, I was just in awe with it. It was incredible. When we meet Tadashi, Hero's brother in the film, the first thing I thought was, well, we haven't seen this guy in any of the trailers, so he's either the villain or he dies pretty soon. And sure enough, he dies, but even when he dies, you felt it. Yeah. They set it up in such a way, they did a great job really establishing that relationship between Hero and Tadashi, and when he dies, you feel Hero's pain. And I thought that was really great the way they did that. This is an animated film that has heart, a heavy emphasis on the human emotion and all that kind of stuff. I love the different characters. I think my favorite auxiliary character in it was Freddy, TJ Miller, who I thought was just going to annoy me at first. But then I think one of my favorite lines in the whole movie is he's in his monster clapping his hand and he says, "Rocket fists make Freddy so happy." That is one of my favorite lines in the movie. The action was great. The characters were great. It's a great origin story. They didn't waste time on things they didn't need to waste time on. I found the things they spent the most time on were actually the dramatic elements and the human elements, the emotional elements and stuff like that. And I love the voice cast. I thought the voice cast was great. And you're right. It puts a big emphasis on science and things that kids can do and kids can actually aspire to, which I thought was wonderful. So anyway, lots of great stuff for me. So anyway, Alicia, your thoughts on Big Hero 6?
Lots of good stuff. I thought it looked beautiful. The animation was incredible. I love the futuristic world, the San Francisco-Tokyo mix.
San Francisco.
I thought that was really cute and really clever. I like the racial diversity in the cast, that little kids can maybe see themselves reflected on the screen. And the fact that, as you said, Schnepp, knowledge is power in this movie. Yeah. And it is all about studying at school and using your brain to become a superhero. I love that side of it. And Baymax. Such a cute character, so adorable. I want one. I want to hug one. I love that character, and those were my favorite moments, the Baymax and Hero moments together. What about when Baymax deflated? And they're coming in the door, and it's like he's drunk.
Like drunkish?
Yeah, it was so sweet.
Voiced by Scott Adsit. Did a great job. Yeah, he did an awesome job.
Did a really good job with the voice because it's naive but not ridiculous, really sweet, selfless. So the characters were my favorite moments in the film. I thought it was great.
Dennis?
It was fun. It was charming, and the emotional elements weren't too over the top. They didn't beat you over the head with it. They
Right.
had him, and they had him at the right moments, but they didn't go too over the top with him. I liked, they built up the relationship between Tadashi and Hiro, and then just kind of doing a kid, I don't know, not friendly, but a way for kids to like learn and feel about coping with loss,
Yeah.
with the loss of the brother, and even at the end with the supposed loss of Baymax, which I knew they were going to bring him back.
Oh, yeah, for
Well,
sure.
I mean, the
That
kids would
had
be going out of the theater weeping if that didn't happen. And that'd be like the second like main character, going away. But yeah, and then also besides racial diversity, you had two female characters who also weren't damsels in distress. They were just as good as the other male superhero character, or not superhero, but hero characters in this part of the team, and they were all holding their own weight. So
Yeah,
I
like
found it
that.
very enjoyable.
And actually, the tough kind of take charge one was Go-Go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which was really interesting. And she said it twice in the film. She uses the term "woman up."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
woman up.
that's her battle cry as she starts doing stuff. I thought was
Yeah, I
pretty
love
cool.
that.
All right, well let's talk about some of the things that we thought maybe the film could have done better. We'll go in the same order. Schnepp, let's start with you.
The villain, Callahan, I felt
Yeah.
it was not even necessary, but that it was there. I mean, obviously a villain is necessary to have superheroes, but I didn't believe it for a second. It's like, oh, they're squeezing this science teacher in, and how's he know all this crazy kung fu and doing super villain poses? It just didn't really work for me. That guy who like was training all these kids and had this awesome science center, like the nerd team. I want to get on the nerd team, and he was in charge of it, sort of, where they looked up to him as a mentor. Then he turned into a guy who was trying to kill them because of his daughter. All of that just kind of didn't really sit with me. I just felt like I wish they developed that a little bit better. I mean, honestly, that was the weakest part for me. But I loved it so much, the interaction with the kids and like becoming the superheroes, and the whole storyline of Baymax and Hero. That weak uncharacter development was. I give it a pass in a weird way,
Right.
Like they didn't even give a scene of like the villain Callahan reunited with his daughter, or even like they did just it was so like kind of like subdued. All I really cared about is like, well, I hope Baymax figured out a way to get that Tadashi chip out, and oh yes, it's there. Oh, yeah. Relief. What about the weird villain? Who cares?
$2 billion in toy sales. Thanks
Yeah.
you so much. But I just saw the film for the third time. Absolutely, I agree with you. That's my number one complaint about the film, is that you have this character. See, in general, Kabuki Mask worked for me as a villain. The Callahan part didn't really work for me as a villain. They didn't develop that enough, because he went from being this guy who's super friendly, loves his kids, like his science kids, and all this kind of stuff, to he just, on the dock one day, he sees his science team there. I'm going to drop a storage container. I'm going to kill you all now. It's like, whoa. And I did kind of like the idea about a good person, when faced with incredible loss, can become mutilated emotionally and become something different. I get that. But to throw such a switch so fast, to like when Hiro says to him, Tadashi went in there to save you. Well, that was his mistake. Like, really? You liked that kid?
Yeah.
Like that, considering how much care they put into all the characters and giving them all their personalities and stuff like that, I just feel like it was 2 weeks before they had to have Locke on the picture and went, oh, wait a minute, we forgot why Callahan is doing this. Just saying anything, right? So to me, that was the big weakness as well. Alicia?
That's exactly what I was going to say. The villain wasn't built up enough, so just felt like a last-minute choice to make that guy the villain. I would have liked it if it was just a nameless, weird, like kabuki person who found the microbots and decided to use them for evil, rather than trying to turn this nice guy into a bad guy. It didn't fit for me. And when it got to the big action scene at the end, it just felt very standard, apart from the portal situation with Baymax, and that was really sweet. But I knew, obviously, the kids are going to survive and it's all going to be fine. So there wasn't really that stakes there. I just like it when they focus on the characters rather than go into the big action stuff.
Yeah,
Dennis?
it was the biggest glaring weakness. Not that it took away that much from the movie, but I actually liked the way he looked and the way he used the microbots.
The look was great.
Yeah, like he was a very fearsome villain. But to elaborate further, the problems I had, once the science teacher Callahan comes out and it's James Cromwell. If you've seen LA Confidential, you know what his role is in that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he's the villain. You know, like I was like, okay, they're gonna twist it. They're gonna make it pretend
But
it's
he's
gonna
the
be
farmer from Babe.
I haven't seen that
That'll
movie.
do, Pig. That'll do.
So besides that, like, yeah, it didn't make sense in this, like, why, for the microbots part of it, like, why didn't Hero just build the microbots himself again? He built them in the first place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why, like, if he had this big significant advantage with all these microbots, why didn't he build his own? And then, yeah, like, his motivation with the daughter, they kind of shoehorned that
Yeah.
in at the end.
Felt very convenient.
Which could have
at the
been
end.
pretty rich, actually. Could have been a really
because
great.
it mirrors Hero and what Hero's going through, trying
yes,
to get
but instead
revenge.
you're right. They shoehorned it.
Yeah, and
So
then also
they could have taken advantage of it.
Part of the microbots thing is, okay, Hero had already decided he wasn't going to sell it to
Cray.
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 So he was going to go to the school and develop it
Wash.
further.
Right.
So why didn't Callahan just say, okay, well, this guy's going to bring it to the school anyway. I'm just
Yeah.
going to figure out how to make it myself and make a bunch
Instead
for
of being
himself.
Kabuki
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah,
You know what?
yeah.
It's like he became the wasn't you for you damn kids.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
Scooby Doo villain
Yeah,
is what
he-
it was.
he did.
In fact, I thought it was going to go Racer X style, and the Kabuki mask was going to be his brother.
Yeah, brother. I thought that
was
would have been a
and
cool
then
Yeah.
he was like,
twist.
I'm
I
trying
thought
to
it was
stop.
too.
You know, it would have been some other reason, and I never was going to try to throw to. You know, I
Yeah.
knew that the Baymax would have stopped the thing, and there would have been all that kind of stuff. That would have actually made a little bit more sense than having this abrupt, strange, weird version of Callahan show.
Yeah.
You know?
What about? Let's talk about the humor of the film, because that's one of the things that actually worked for me quite well. It's one of those movies where I giggled an awful lot, and there were like 3 or 4 or 5 really big laugh moments for me. Like I said, the Freddy character was great. I really also liked Wasabi. I thought
Yeah,
Wasabi
Wasabi.
was
Damon
such.
Wayans Jr.
Yeah, who was such. He was probably the most real character. Like, whereas Gogo is unscratchably brave, and you know, and Honey Lemon is very
Sweet.
much very sweet, but a caricature in many ways. Still worked awesome. Wasabi to me is like, oh, you're gonna fly in this new robot flying through the sky. You'll
Yeah.
be scared to death.
That's
you know?
how I would be.
Yeah,
I would be like,
exactly.
I don't want to look. I don't want to look.
I love
No
that one
way.
line of his. Oh, look, that sign has a skull on it.
Yeah.
Why
that-
are we here?
I like when he freaked out when the big shipping container like came right out and he
that
thought he was
was
gonna
great.
die.
Yeah.
And he just started screaming.
What
Yeah.
are some of your favorite funny moments? Some of your favorite lines from the film?
I think almost all of the sequences with Baymax, with him just doing his little baby walk. In fact,
Yeah.
when Hero's kind of tracking him at first, and he kept coming around those corners, and you just saw little Baymax, like just his feet, like, cause like it was just, I was like, I can't wait to see that again, and because that's that's just a fun way of showing of him get to the place, like he's stopped, and then you see Baymax far away, just coming around a corner. Just the way that they animated Baymax was really lovable and fun, and it made me laugh.
And the first time once Hero builds the green armor, the first set of armor, and he's running through the streets, it's
Yeah.
like still very
Right,
light.
right, right,
What are
right,
some of you
right,
guys' favorite lines in the film?
Yeah, Baymax, I love the bit that I did before the ba-la-la-la. For some
Oh, yeah.
reason that
So
killed
good.
me every single time that he's trying to do it, but he can't quite do it properly. And when he's trying to get around the furniture, and it's like, yeah, he's so sweet.
Yeah, all the stuff you guys mentioned was pretty funny, but let's talk about the end credit sequence.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
That was
end credit scene.
hilarious.
Tell me about it, because
Yeah.
I didn't stay, so tell me about it. I didn't know there was going to be one.
Well, you saw the picture in Fred's mansion, right?
Yeah.
Of him and his father, who was Stan Lee.
Ah.
So he comes at the end, and he accidentally finds like a secret compartment where
Behind the family
behind the
portrait.
picture.
Behind the fan. Oh, cool.
And then Stan Lee, Fred's dad, comes out and talks to him and basically reveals that he's like some sort of superhero as well.
Because the
Cool.
secret room behind the portrait is like clearly a superhero base
Yeah.
of some
There's a
kind.
bunch of underwear, like
Yeah.
superhero underwear, and he's
Almost
like,
had an Ant-Man look to it. The helmet.
It really
Yeah.
did. That's the
Yeah.
first thing I
Yeah.
thought too.
Interesting.
And then so he walks in, and it's Stan Lee's voice says, "We have a lot to talk about, son."
Oh,
and then
cool.
yeah,
he does the underwear line. I
Yeah.
wear it, on
Frontwards
the
or
front,
backwards
or
inside out.
Yeah, they both said it together. So.
yeah, because I mean, I knew it was based on a Marvel property, but I just didn't imagine there would be an end credit scene, so I just left straight away. Damn it.
Yeah, so this is my third time seeing it, but my first time seeing the end credit scene, and it was a really good end credit scene. And I think as overall, this is a good origin story. Like, they can do another Big Hero 6 film now, and they've got all of that out of the way. We know these characters now, they're set up, and you can start their next big adventure. Of course, the whole notion near the end, though, that nobody knows who these heroes were. Really? None of their faces are covered.
Yeah.
You just got their science teacher in custody right now.
They're kids.
I'm sure if Cray doesn't recognize the kid who made the microbots in the first place, then something's wrong there. So that's a bit of a stretch. But
The science teacher didn't seem so happy about his daughter being alive. I'm
Yeah, he
like,
was
you
like,
did this
"Eh."
whole evil plot. She's alive,
Right.
and then he looks all sullen.
He's like,
I mean, I know he was being
off to
arrested,
jail.
but I'm sure he'd be more happy that his daughter's alive.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
true.
that like that. Yeah, that was definitely the weakest part. But we didn't talk about once they went into the only that we just saw Interstellar, and now there was
yeah.
another fifth dimensional like
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
I'm inside some liquid,
The
strange,
portal.
weird universe.
I thought that looked beautiful.
It was beautiful, and I was gonna say, Interstellar didn't get me emotional about sequences like that. And this, even though I saw it coming a million miles away, that Baymax was going to sacrifice himself in that portal,
Yeah.
I got a little emotional
Yeah.
when I was like, all right, just use the rocket fist already. Come on.
Yeah.
No, don't milk it. Why is there, his eyes are closing. It's too human. That's really literal. I was
Yeah.
like, it's working.
Like, are you
The heart
satisfied
pulling. I
with
was
your
like,
treatment?
you know?
Aw.
So yeah, and it was really a cool, really weird looking, I don't trans-dimensional, wherever it was, it looked cool. So
You know, one of the really great things that made that scene work so well emotionally, and this was really smart on the writers. I can't help but wonder if they wrote this in the movie specifically for that scene. Baymax can't deactivate unless you say I'm satisfied with my character. So he couldn't just say, no, Hero, put him on the rocket and send him back to safety.
Yeah.
He's got to get, Hero, you have to say you are satisfied with your
Yeah.
care. And it's like, oh!
I know.
don't say it. Yeah.
Oh, it's
Okay,
kill
well,
me.
This is a weird thing to throw in on a review of this movie, but you can't talk about the movie-going experience of seeing Big Hero 6 without talking at least a little bit about the short that plays in front of it.
Oh,
Feast. This short had to be, 3 or 4 minutes at max, about the little dog and the food and stuff like that. I'm going to tell you, it is my favorite short I've ever seen played in front of a Disney or Pixar film. And I've loved a lot of them. Paperman just a couple years ago set a new story. The old guy, the chess game and the thing was one of the original Pixar shorts. So many great ones. I, who am a dog owner and have been a dog owner my whole life, Anne bawls her eyes out. She every time we see Feast, she breaks down and she bawls her eyes out. And even me today, we're sitting in the theater, and I feel myself going, okay, all right.
It's
like
so sweet when
so
he runs through with the little leaf
Parsley.
and then gives it. Oh,
Thing that all of us love, parsley, right?
parsley, yeah. It looked beautiful too. It looked like watercolor.
oh,
The
it's so
style of
gorgeously
animation,
done.
gorgeous.
It was a hybrid of several different styles too.
Yeah,
that
it's
they
like
took
it's
advantage
3D,
of.
but it's like it's like toon shaded or cell shaded is what
Yeah.
they call it, where it creates that black outline just like regular cell animation. But they really were able to make this kind of animation pop. So it didn't have that like Big Hero 6, like you're obviously watching a 3D animated cartoon, like CG animated cartoon. But it really worked because it's all the base emotions that you have when you have an animal that loves you.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the sounds of the and just everything about it. It was like it's happy, it's having
and
fun.
it tells a whole life and a whole relationship without any words.
Yes.
Yeah.
So clever.
So good. All right, well, time for us to wrap this up. It's judgment time. Time for us to give Big Hero 6 a score. Dennis, 0 to 10. What do you give Big Hero 6 and why?
I'm going to give it an 8.5. I found it very charming. It's fun. It's funny. The action was good in it as well. A lot of emotional moments without going too over the top. So I definitely recommend it. And it's one of those movies, quote unquote, kids movies that adults can watch too. Because there's some kids movies, they're just for kids. Adults kind of they suffer through them for their kids. This one is one that adults and kids can love.
Yeah,
Alicia?
I'm going to go 8. I thought it gets quite dark and disturbing at times. I like where it went. I like how it wasn't too heavy-handed with the messages, but the messages it was portraying to kids, I think is really important and funny and enjoyable, and I want Baymax.
Yeah, I am also going to go with an 8. I found it was, like you said, I found the quote-unquote cinematography. It's always weird to talk about cinematography in anime film, but the cinematography in the film was great, and not just in the action sequences too, just in the choice of shots and angles, like even just when they're walking through the hidden island fortress and stuff like that. I just found their choice of visuals was really, really good and engaging. They did not shy away from the heavier topics, the emotional, without going too much into them to make it morbid. The characters were well developed, aside from the villain, which they really should have done a better job on. And I just found myself thoroughly entertained. So for me, it's going to be an 8.
Yeah, I'm across the board with you. 8 for me. It would have probably gotten a higher score if they just were able to nail that persnickety villain and make it matter a little bit more.
Yeah.
But overall, yeah, the direction of it was really well done. All the characters are amazingly designed. You really feel like, I would love to go to that nerd science college school for gifted whatevers.
Yeah.
That looks fun. It looked like a fun place to be. And all the characterizations, everybody had their own voice, and it was fun. Definitely to see that character Baymax turn into a flying robot. I want that action figure.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like it did a really good job. It's just not only like telling a brand new story, but getting you to feel emotional about something like a robot,
Yeah, they did so. None of us mentioned actually, but I really like Maya Rudolph's character, the ant.
The ant.
I thought that was she starts things off. She is not in a lot of the film, but she kicks things off, setting the family tone, all that kind of stuff. And after she picks up the boys from the police station, they come back. She goes, like, did I know anything about parenting? No. Should I probably have bought a book about parenting? Probably. Like, it's just,
and then emotionally eating.
Oh, yeah, emotionally
So
eating
funny.
and the cat and all that kind of stuff. There's so many things that are... All right, folks, well, that'll do it for us for this installment of AMC Spoilers, talking about Big Hero 6. Jump into the comment section and let us know what you thought of the film. We'd like to know your impressions and your experience with it as well. So, for Dennis Zen, Alicia Malone, Mr. John Schnepp, and myself, thank you so much for joining us for this installment of AMC Spoilers. Don't forget, check on our YouTube channel, AMC Theaters, or youtube.com/AMC Theaters. New content every single day. So, my name is Sean Campbell for AMC Movie News. Until next time, bye-bye.
Hey everyone, if you like this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC movie talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.